Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel! I have had one question that has been on people's minds repetitively through, I think probably about 3-ish years since I've got them, but I think I've put this information in a video before, but it was like in an update video and halfway through the update video, so this is a video specifically for and only for my tattoos. I've had somebody asking me, and I've said, I will do this video, and I keep putting it off. I'm like, nobody really wants to know, but they keep asking, so somebody's got to want to know. But I do have tattoos on my shoulders, and without further ado, I will just go ahead and show them so you guys can see them. I'm not sure whether or not it's because people can't see it very well during the videos or because they're wondering why I have them. This one is called Space. It's the ship from Firefly. This is Serenity, and it's outer space, and it says no power in the verse, which is actually a phrase that is used in Firefly, which is short for no power in the universe, and it's the whole phrase is no power in the universe can stop me. So that's that tattoo, and the other one are the hourglass and a clock, and this is time, and it says if not now, then when. So I've got time and space. There are future plans, whether or not I'll ever actually do them, I have no idea, but there are future plans for creating tattoos that are here as well. And then it will go from time, space, direction, and faith. And I don't know if and when those will ever happen, but I basically got these tattoos back when I had right after I got out of the situation when my back was messed up. And I went through a depressive phase during that time when my back was messed up because I couldn't really get a whole lot of help with my back. My doctors kept sending me back and forth to each other and saying that I really didn't have a problem. And, you know, the normal thing your doctors do whenever your job was saying, it's not my fault. We didn't have her do anything that would mess up her back. Absolutely not. Well, I didn't ask my job to get involved at all in my messed up back. I went to the doctor, and because I needed time off to go to the doctor and go to therapy for it, they wanted to say, well, the only way you can do that is you can show up for a partial day, which my job was 45 minutes away. And they're like, you can come to your job, and you can stay there for as long as you can stand, and then you can go home. And I'm like, yeah, but you're paying me $10 an hour. And I can only sit here for like 2 hours. I'll get $20. That's not even enough to cover the gas. Well, it might be enough to cover the gas, but not more than that. And it was not just that. It was the fact that I would go home and I would be in tears and barely able to move the next day. So it was just like a thing that I was dealing with, and getting a doctor to listen to me because the job was involved, even though I didn't want them involved. I just wanted them to let me go to the doctor and recover, and they wouldn't let me do that without firing me. So they got involved, which obviously slowed everything down because the job was like, this is not our fault. We didn't do it. And the doctors are like, oh, it looks like it's not their fault. Nothing is wrong with you. And as soon as the whole thing went through and they looked at my back, they did an MRI or something like that. I don't know, I forgot which one. It was the first time they put you in the tube or whatever, and you're absolutely panicked for the first time in your life knowing what it's like to be inside a coffin. Aside from that exciting panic attack that my job afforded me, they didn't find anything. So they said, hey, there's nothing wrong with your back, and it's not our fault that there is or is not something wrong with your back, so we're dropping it. And it's like, okay, now that I'm going back to the doctor because my back is not better, I quit the job. I was like, you guys are not helping me at all, and I can't keep doing this. So I went back to the doctor, and the first thing the doctor said was, why are you back? And I was like, because there's something wrong with my back and it hurts. Well, the doctor did, I would pull bones out and actually describe it, but basically, if you can imagine, this is a spine. She just did this to my spine. That's it. She put her hands on my back and did like this down the sides of my spine. And lo and behold, in one visit, that doctor found out exactly what was wrong with my back. I was having muscle spasms. After weeks of dealing with the other doctors, and they found nothing wrong because my business was involved and didn't want to do workman's comp, and I wasn't asking them to, but they wouldn't give me time off to go see the doctor. Long story short, She found out what was wrong. She actually gave me medicine. Instead of killing the pain, she gave me a muscle relaxer so the muscles finally let go of my spine and I could move again. And then she sent me to a physical therapist, which I couldn't afford to go to the physical therapist because I had just lost my job. It's amazing. I had to lose my job to go find out what was wrong with my back because my job decided they wanted to stick their nose in it. It was none of their business. I mean, it was some of what happened was partially their fault, but some of it wasn't. It was just an overuse of those particular muscles. My job changed drastically on the job. I went from sitting, just a little backstory, I went from sitting and investigating parts. Like I would pick up tiny little pieces, tiny little pieces, like the average, I don't even have anything on my desk that is that small. But I would have to sit at a desk and look at a plate of these pieces through a magnifying glass. Well, yeah, a magnifying glass, just like a big one that old ladies used to crochet with or needlepoint with. It was one of those, and I would have to look at these tiny pieces to make sure that they were okay to ship. And I did that for 6, 8 months, somewhere around there. And then they took me and immediately moved me back onto the floor. And it took a long time for my back and my body actually to get back used to the job, because when I first started that job, that was the one where I started working 12 hours and I would go home and cry for the first few weeks because it was so torturous on my body, my knees, everything. It hurt so bad. Well, when they took me from doing the quality control job back onto the floor and everything, there was no period for my body to get used to it again. And they still had me in their paperwork as an inspector, even though I wasn't inspecting again. And it's not my fault. And because we're inspecting and nothing during inspecting is going to cause you to hurt your back, that actually messed me up, because not only did they not see any fault or find any fault, it put me behind on getting my back fixed because of all the paperwork. So aside from me not having a full check for almost a month, I did not have a full check. Then I had to wait and go back to the doctor on my own dime, and a whole lot more money because I had already been to the doctor several times on my own dime before then. Long story short, that's what messed up my back, was moving from one type of job to another type of job. The doctor finally found out what was wrong with my back. She sent me to the physical therapist, and while I could not afford the physical therapist told me exactly the moves that I needed to do to relax that section of muscles out, because it was, hold on, if I can, right here, that section of muscles is actually a very hard one to stretch or whatever. It's a very difficult one to get the knot out, if that makes any sense. If you get a grouping of muscles that tightens up along the spine, it will shift the spine and strain it. And that's what my back was doing. So the physical therapist taught me the movements to relax the muscles out. And because I knew that there was no damage, I felt safe doing workouts again, because my biggest thing was there's two different choices. Either I need to exercise or I don't need to exercise, depending on what is wrong. And because it was a situation where the muscles were messed up because they were overcompensating for parts of me that had degraded sitting in a chair inspecting parts for months on end. So then I knew I could go to exercising again. So I did the stretches, I did the exercise. And after I started exercising, I felt so much better. But the whole time I was going through that process, it was like, I felt like something was wrong with me because I was hurting and nobody could find out what was wrong with me. So obviously it's a me thing. It's got to be in my head. It's my fault. Something like that. So I kind of went through that phase of being stuck on my couch and so upset. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. If you've never been injured to the point to where it feels like you can't do anything, like I couldn't even take deep breaths on bad days because it would hurt. I would have to sit on an ice pack I'd have to lay down and put the ice pack back behind me until my muscles went numb before I could move and breathe properly. So if you've never been injured to the point where you couldn't hardly move and hardly do anything for yourself, you're not going to quite understand what kind of mental toll that takes on you. But the point of all of that story is basically to say that I came out the other side And I found out that even now, every now and then, I do have problems with my back, but I know what's causing them because I recognize the feeling now that I know what that feeling is and I know where it's at. I know what to do. Basically, get up off my butt and exercise. Specifically, that region of my body has to be exercised because I haven't done it or something like that. And the fact that I sit at a desk a lot of the time, my back does get to bothering me. So I know what to do and how to fix it and stuff like that. But the tattoos were kind of a visual reminder of that time. No power in the universe can stop me. I did that the opposite. No power in the universe can stop me, which means the only thing that's stopping me is me. Whenever it comes to certain things, can I do it? Do I have the ability to do it? Not stopping from going to the doctor. It's like, look, there's something wrong. Now, you may think something sideways about me because I keep coming up here, and I flat out told her I don't want pain medication. I want you to find out what's wrong with my back because it wasn't normal. So I had to deal with doctors looking at me sideways, thinking I was looking for pain meds when that's not what I wanted at all. I did not want pain meds. I wanted them to fix it. So no power in the verse can stop me. And honestly, if it takes persistence, it takes persistence. And in some cases, a lot of things in life just require that. Regardless to whether or not you think you can or should or whatever, it just requires it. And then if not now, then when? It's kind of the same thing. There were so many things that were put on hold in my life because of that situation that I felt like my entire life was on pause. While I was working at that job, it was not the best job. It basically took a lot out of me, especially the 12-hour shift job. Even though it wasn't the best thing for my health, necessarily, it was paying the bills, and for the first time in a long time, we as a household were actually getting ourselves out of the hole. So whenever I went down and not able to work, that really took a toll out of me. I was like, this is, I will never financially recover from this, is exactly how I felt. So, long story short, that's everything to do with my tattoos, and I hope that answers the question, and I won't cover anything else. I feel like I could go into other things and talk about other things, but I wanted this to be a concise video talking about the tattoos because people keep asking about it. So thank you so much for asking, and now you know. I will see you guys next time. You have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and you stay shiny. Bye!